Welcome to Attainable Green. I'm Jess, and today we're going to do a care video about the Laelia Santa Barbara Sunset. This is a care collab video with Fernanda. I'm going to link her information in the description box below so you can have information about how she takes care of this particular plant. So let's dive right in. I've had the Laelia Santa Barbara for about 3 seasons now, and this is the first season that it has successfully bloomed. It has 1 spike with 4 flowers, and it is a very stunning plant. There are a couple of issues that I'm dealing with for this particular orchid, and I'll go into detail about that later in the video. But for now, let's just start with the general environment for this plant. I currently have this plant outdoors on a 2nd-story patio. This plant can handle a wide range of temperatures, so it can go down to the 40s all the way up to the 90s. Laelias are one of the more hardy of the Cattleyas, and they can handle a wider range of temperatures, which makes it perfect for my Southern California environment. 2 years ago, this plant was in my side yard. It had gotten plenty of light, and it actually spiked as well. However, the spike did not mature, and it aborted about halfway. So the spike got to be about 10 inches long before it completely aborted. When it comes to light, during the growing season, it gets about 8 to 10 hours of sunlight, and the rest of the time it's in bright shade. During the winter season, this plant is in bright shade, but it has sufficient light because I noticed that the leaves don't get too dark and pale, but there is still continued growth. When it comes to watering, I water this plant about every 2 to 3 days during the summer season and about once a week in the winter season. I've noticed that for this season, since there is a spike, I'm having to water the plant more, but the bulbs are getting kind of wrinkled, so I will have to deal with that at a later date. I use my tap water to water this plant, and my tap water is usually between 7 and 8 pH and a TDS between 2 to 300 ppm. So far, I haven't noticed any problems with that, and it seems to be working fine. When it comes to fertilizer, I use a slow-release NutriCoat, and it seems to be working pretty well. As for media, this is currently potted in large bark, and I think that it needs a little bit more hydration, so when I repot it, I'm going to use smaller bark and perlite to just give this plant a little bit more hydration. This will be the 2nd time that I'm repotting this plant. The first time I potted it was about 2 years ago, and I up-potted it from a small 4-inch pot to the 6-inch pot, and I just used large bark as its media. With the upcoming repot, I'm going to keep the same size of the pot, and I'm probably going to add a little bit more water retentive media so that the roots stay more hydrated. As for problems with this plant, this is a fairly easy Cattleya, and I haven't had any issues with this Laelia. The only issue that I have is that because it's in bloom, it has attracted aphids during this period of time. So the blooms don't look perfect on this plant because I'm having some bugs attack the flowers, but overall this plant is fairly healthy. I have noticed that the pseudobulbs have been wrinkling quite a bit, so I had to do kind of an emergency repot just to see what is going on. The plant overall seemed to be really healthy, and then it just kind of started deteriorating really fast once it was in bloom. And I don't think that the spike takes that much energy from the bulbs, so I had to check the roots, and I noticed that there were a couple slugs in the pot, and they munched on the majority of the roots. So this plant has gone from healthy to recovery in just a very short amount of time. So after inspecting the roots, I'm going to have to repot this plant and cut the spike and hopefully give a chance for the roots to recover. I know that there is a new growth starting at the base of this plant. I'm hoping that if the spike is cut, the plant will redirect the energy toward its new growth, and hopefully new roots will follow very quickly. If the current root system can't support the plant and the new root system doesn't come out quickly enough, then this plant may not survive. So as much as I love this plant and it's doing fantastic, it's also having quite a struggle. I need to keep a better eye out for slugs because I know that if slugs are present, they can definitely eat up an entire root system. So that is the basic care guide of how I take care of the Laelia Santa Barbara and some of the problems that I've had with this particular plant. I'm hoping that next season I will do much better with this plant and that it will have just enough energy to shoot out a new growth and hopefully some more flowers as well. I'm really excited to see how Fernanda takes care of this plant as well. And if you would like to see her video, just click on her link. And if you also have this plant, please let me know, and I would love to know how you grow it. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, Attainable Green, to follow along on my orchid growing journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.